job to find you somewhere to stay because you just don't want to live in Silicaca anymore.
It's not your job. You and can I mean, let's just I want to know why this man, whatever he think he is, icon, self-proclaimed icon, whatever he is, why is it that he felt the need to feel like he's Cinderella and you were supposed to make a miracle happen and put him in one of them horse and carriages to wheel him down there? Why was he think that's your responsibility?
Um, because they thought that everything was my responsibility. Um, you know, yeah, like yeah, um, yeah, that wasn't my responsibility. Again, putting together a birthday party. That's not what I'm here to do. That didn't benefit me. That didn't make me a single dollar.
Good
Um,
night, Mia. Go ahead, Carlos.
yeah, no, that just didn't make me a single dollar. Um, you know, the wedding reception didn't make me a single dollar. The wedding itself didn't make me a single dollar. So
As a
but
matter of fact, didn't you call in favors for all of that, and you got it? You got those real celebrities there as something that you knew through your own connections.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, though they don't know any celebrities. They only know the celebrities that I introduced them to, like Candy. I introduced them to Candy and made it possible for them to meet Candy. I made it possible for them to meet talk to the brat on the phone and meet her wife Judy. Um, yeah, they didn't know any celebrities or how to even get in touch with people. Again, I've been doing this for 15 years or so. So, so I utilize the connections in which I actually have, to make things happen. They didn't know how to get in touch or meet Lunel, or Sherry Shepherd or any of those people that they met.
And that came through you. And another thing that people wouldn't realize was that reception and all that stuff happened because of you. It didn't.
Yes.
The
The
only
$60,000 reception happened because of me and my connections. Yes. For $0 to them.
And if I'm not mistaken, the only money that they had to pay was because they brought their family in to where this place was gonna be. But other
Yes.
than that, that was on them to bring their
They did not
family.
even want to. They got so upset that they had to pay $2,000 to bus their family in from Silicaga, as if we were supposed to take care of that too.
Why would does this man not know that you got to pay for things out of pocket? When you get a management team and you got to pay your staff and they get out there and get you the jobs and bookings and get you out there. Did he not know that, Carlos?
I don't know what they knew or didn't know. They don't seem to know quite of anything. If you still, even today, you listen to them talk, they can't even say basic words, like resort. You go to Jamaica and you go to a resort. It's not a resort. You have seasonings coming out. It's not called season.
Well,
Seasonings are not called season.
and here's one for you, Carlos. When Joe Diddy and radio was Charles was trying to talk and go in on Miss Tia Kemp. Charles said,
Oh yeah,
"You
I'm sorry.
need
He
to."
couldn't even say community. He said communication. He was trying
Yes,
to talk about the
yes.
Jamaican. He said the Jamaican communication. Like, what are you like? What, like, you just make yourself seem like you don't know nothing. You just stupid. You dumb. You know. and
And
just
and
flat
and,
out
and
ignorant.
let's
And
not forget.
you make yourself look like you live in a trailer park. To be
Yep,
honest with you,
and let's not forget. Charles told Tia she need to find her a perfection to do. He was trying to say profession, and he said perfection. And
yeah.
Joe
Well,
Diddy was right there
I was
along
just
nine
proud
with
to hear
him.
Charles say more than 10 words. Then,
Right. All he would do is uh-huh,
Cause all
uh-huh.
he, otherwise, all he ever know is 10 words, 10 vocabulary words.
I know that. That's all he knew. And then beside the point of, did you every time you seen him, why is he drinking all the time? Is that just to stay around Joe Diddy?
I don't know. That it could be because Charles does like to drink.
Did Joe Diddy ever try to invite you in that pool with Charles? And I'm just asking you to clear up these rumors. You know them Joe Diddy liked them freak off. And I know you wasn't having nothing to do with that. But did he ever try to invite you over to get in the pool?
No, I was never invited to get in the pool.
Uh-huh. That's I know you would have read him from one end to the other. So what do you think this man is thinking doing this stuff instead of them reaching out the right way to have resolved this with you to try to put out a fire instead of making things worse?
It's part narcissism. I think one of them is a complete narcissist, and can never admit that they're wrong about anything. That's why even when the situation with speaking about black women, it took them a while before they actually came out and said that they were wrong, right? So they just have when you're dealing with a narcissist will hardly ever admit that they're actually wrong, and that's just what the public is dealing with. And and then they're also desperate, right? So they can't go back. You can't go back, right? Because it's not going to look good, right? You can't go back. And I don't want to work with them ever again, so I'm glad that it ended the way that it did, because I think people saw more of the errors in them and not in me as they were intending, because I have done everything, as upstanding as possible. I'm a businessman. I'm a capitalist. So that's what I'm here to do. I make more money doing the least amount of work. So I think they made a fool of themselves.
Yep.
And you can't. I own a lot of different businesses. I say that all the time. I own anything you could think of. I own it. I'm a true capitalist. I own a processing company, right? So I hire people to go and serve people papers all the time because I own it. I hire people to go. People pay us to go and find their baby moms and baby dads to put them on child support. So I own all kind of things. And somebody today came and approached me because they want me to do some work for them, and where they want to do a public campaign against somebody, and I gave them a price tag. The price tag $25,000. That's the starting price. So I do real work, and I've been working in media relations for years. I'm a spin doctor. I spin narratives for clients every single day. That is part of what I do on a daily basis. People pay me big money to spin narratives. I work with people that you wouldn't even believe. Some of these people, you see statements, they do something wrong. You see a statement out. Sometimes it's my company that put those statements out. And we're paid big dollars to do so. So there's no way that they thought that they could even go up against somebody of my caliber who've been doing this for a lifetime. No way.
Well, and we definitely know that. Now, what's interesting to me is that this man seems to think that people forget what he say, what he do, what he's did. But when you went into that trailer to get what I didn't, we know what I'm talking about. When you went to that trailer and they let you in there remotely by their phone, was Lily in that house? Do you remember Lily tapping in that house when you went in there? You remember hearing that dog was in that trailer?
No, so for the most part, the dog has always been with somebody else. When they go out of town, they take the dog to somebody else. Now, my clothes did get dirty because there was it had like rained the day before, so there was a lot of mud. You know, it's not like a road in the little country parts or whatnot. It's dirt roads, so it's not concrete roads. So on the little dirt road, there was a stray dog who's just around, who I guess Charles, saw a lot of himself in the dog, so he just took the dog in, and so this dog that Charles had taken in was just outside, and he just kept jumping up on me on the and all the dirt from his paws kept getting on me. So I was very upset. That was the only dog that was around. But Lily, every time they go out of town, Lily's with someone else.
So, and God bless his soul for trying to get that slow dog. The dog was slow. Charles was slow. They had something in common and they bonded. And I gotta give him kudos for that. They say your dog is like your keeper, the owner's keeper, whatever. So you see one, you see two. So kudos to Charles for getting that slow dog and him being slow and doing whatever he doing with that dog. Now, when they try to attack you with all this mess and stuff, you made sense. Like you said, you know how to spin it. You silenced them. See, a lot of people didn't realize all the power and knowledge you had. People underestimated you. Even I did, and I apologize to you. And I know you remember this a few months back when you were on my show. And we were actually guests on Mia's show when that dude came up acting like he was a journalist, and you read him from top to bottom, and I read him from top to bottom. You remember that?
Yeah, you first. I'm a national award-winning journalist. I won a national award as a journalist for the reporting that I've done. That's one. Two, I've worked for some of the top media companies. I used to work for CNN on a show in about 9 years ago. No, 11 years ago. My bad, 2013. My credibility is what it is. I've been around. The people that have known me for years and people that have followed me for years, they know what I've done. I don't have to prove myself to anybody, but I'm always going to speak the truth. I don't care who like it, and I also don't care what nobody has to say. There's nothing out here that nobody can say that's going to hurt my feelings. I don't care about this social media stuff. I will cuss you out and keep moving and go preach a sermon on Sunday. So I don't, that stuff don't impact me. I don't entertain wannabes. I just don't, I don't entertain somebody who want to be a journalist. I don't entertain somebody who want to be this, want to be that. That's not what I'm here to do, because my career has always spoken for itself.
So what would make him think, Carlos, that you could make wonders when he would get in them gowns and they wouldn't fit him, and he would get mad because they'd have to be cut up the back and shoestrings tied together to tie up the back? Why would he try to get mad at you about something that wasn't designed for him?
Yeah, I don't know. But the wardrobe was never my concern. Again, the only time I had an opinion about wardrobe is when you're trying to wear fake designer. They can't even pass as real. That's the only time that have ever given an opinion. I don't care. You know, you wear what you want to wear. You want to be Tyler Perry, go ahead and do so. You want to be, you know, Martin Lawrence, dressed like Big Mama, go ahead. I don't care. You know, that's
So
not.
could you tell us? You know, Miss Hillary Sanchez knows already, but could you tell my viewing audience how Joe Diddy talked himself out of that Tones Back Coco contract, not listening to you and trying to act like he was the manager?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. Just, you know, trying to go around me to do my job that they obviously weren't too good at doing.
And it's just funny to me when he was working with you, they was booked and busy. They was booked and busy. They was doing things. Things were lining up. They were in the works. They were doing so much. And now that you are gone, a lot of their popularity has went down. His days of having 32K in his lives is long gone, and he keeps on making critical mistakes. Did you ever recently in the last few months hear this man get on here and say he can't stand black women and he hoped that black women go to bed with their kids and they wake up dead?
Yeah, I saw that.
What did you think about that, Carlos?
Yeah, I mean, those are, you know, I would say career-ending words, but you got to have a career in order for your career to end based upon those words. So they don't necessarily have a career. They're just influencers, right? They're influencers with no direction as to where they're going. No real idea as to how to navigate these things. So I wouldn't say that, you know, but in other words, if it was anybody else, I would, you know, I sat back and said, these are career ending words. But again, you have to have a career in order for those words to actually impact you. So I don't think, so in the long run, I don't really think that they're truly impacted because they're not, again, they don't have a career, that's one. And secondly, they are not real celebrities, right? So there's no real impact that the words could really have on them, you know, other than people not watching their videos. But because they're not really doing anything, you know, it's not like they've sold 10,000 bottles of their seasonings. I would be surprised if they've done well to sell 200 bottles thus far.
Well,
So,
and go ahead.
yeah, so it's just not enough of a impact to actually impact anything. Now, it's wrong what they said, but again, on the flip side, I don't really see any true repercussions because there's nothing there to have repercussions against.
And we definitely know that. So, do you think that Joe Diddy doesn't realize why he got so many followers? Because I've told him, I said, it's just a fact. Your looks have played a very big role in why you have so many followers, why people were intrigued with you as an influencer. And you don't have to go no further than look in the mirror. And then when you start to open up your mouth, it gets more intriguing. And that's just the facts. That's just the facts. You can't cook. You cannot cook nothing. And well, you can cook, but in my opinion, you can't cook nothing for me. You couldn't cater nothing for me. You couldn't do nothing for for truly Southern people. I don't even think the people who support him would eat that mess. I don't even think that the people who support him would eat that mess. And that's that. Now,
Yeah, and I think people, I think people are actually intrigued. So even the first time that I saw him, right, I was at home one day, and I think this is like in December, and they came across my timeline, and I think the first post that I made on my social, on my Facebook, I was like, well, is this a man or a woman? Because I'm like,
right.
I'm like, well, what is this? Then I came back, my wife and I were sitting on the couch, we watched a couple of videos, and I was like, oh, this is a man. And but if I think people are genuinely interested because, Netta looks like Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 with a mixture of Freddy Krueger. I think people are actually interested in that.
That's right. And that's what I said. And you can tell me, had you still been managing him, you could have got him all type of gigs at the haunted house, at Party City, the costume company. You probably could have got him, the star attraction in a haunted house. That people would have paid to see that. I know I would have. To go see him.
Then the last partnership that I was working on was with the national brand that wanted to help fix Netta's face. So they've had several people. Like now, I think they went back. So I initially started Candy actually put them in touch with the company in Atlanta, Pretty Faces with Dr. Jean Jean. So I had started working on that, putting that together. They just stopped going to Dr. Jean Jean, but now I think they're going back to Dr. Jean Jean to kind of get the face fixed. There was another brand, a national brand, who was going to pay, really good to kind of like fix the face. So I had started, working on that. No, it wasn't Proactive. It was another brand. I'm not going to necessarily discuss because I don't know, what they're working on, but that, that didn't come to fruition, obviously, because our partnership there had ended. So people were trying to help fix the face, and they just didn't take a lot of this stuff serious, And my thing is, there's several times, again, I told a lot of my friends, I'm like, because I just talked to my friends about some of this stuff. I'm like, well, if women keep up with routines, women can keep up with a night care routine. Women can keep up with a skincare routine. Women can keep up with putting a bonnet on at night. Women don't go around losing their bonnets every single time and have to get a new bonnet almost every place you go to. So I'm like, if you're gonna be a woman, you gotta be a woman. If you can't half-ass being a woman. You gonna be a woman, be a woman.
That's right. You cooking now. And then can we talk about when this man, Joe Diddy, would have them wig installs, why he couldn't keep a wig on his head? When you get normally frontal lace put on, it lasts a few days, a week if you tie it down and take care of it. You mean to tell me this man couldn't keep a wig on for 24 hours, Carlos?
Yeah, so my name for him now, I call him Miss Nigga. So no, Miss Nigga could not keep the hair on because the sweating and all that stuff. They just couldn't keep the hair on, and yeah. But again, it goes back to what I just said. If you're gonna be a woman, you gotta be a woman. Women keep their wigs on. Women know how to put the wig up at night, whatever they do to it, put it in, wrap it up, whatever the case. They don't snatch the wig off every day.
Women, we know how to tie it down. We first of all, you gotta put your band around your outside of your lace, and then you put your bonnet on. See, Joe Diddy ain't even acting. Thank you for the gifts. I see you, Key. I'm gonna follow you, Key. Joe Diddy didn't even act like he was doing anything like a woman, not even like a drag queen. He
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
do
know. The
it.
only thing I know, and I've slept with plenty of women in my life to know what they do at night. Put the wig on, take it off, all that stuff, or don't take it off. But outside of that, I don't know. But I know what I've seen, and what I've seen is women just put it in a bonnet, put the band on, wherever the case, and go to bed.
What would make this man think that that he didn't have to do all these other things, that everything had to be done, and everybody had to work these miracles on him? Like, what was he thinking?
Um, I don't know. That I don't know what they were thinking, but they thought that they were truly on top of the world. But this is my job to figure out how to keep them on top of the world. And so every place, right? I'm an organizer. So that's what I do. I organize things. I put events together, large scale events, all kind of stuff. And so, that's just part of what I do, is making sure that things are in place. So it was very easy for me to make sure that there was just somebody in place to do these things every place that they went to.
Now, let me say this: whoever this skin doctor, whatever dermatologist or surgeon, if somebody truly can fix Joe Diddy's face, can you let me know if they in the stock market so I can go on and buy the stock now? Because if it hit, they gonna be billionaires, and I want to be on board of that train, because that dude climbed up that ugly damn tree down there in Alabama, and he hit every damn branch on his way down. But he set up on here, Carlos, talking about Miss Hillary Sanchez is jealous of him. Of what? What am I jealous of?
Yeah, I think, and they think so. Well, you ain't never had no money. It's easy to try to talk down and bad about other people, right? So they think because they had, don't get me wrong, $20,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people. Okay, but that is what they're measuring all of this stuff based upon, right? Because they've had $20,000 in a bank account, right? That they are now on top of the world. They could do almost anything, and that's neither here nor there, right? But that's what they were basing their success off of. That, we have a lot of money because we have $20,000, which I can't speak for anybody else, but
Well,
again,
you spoke about it earlier when you said that the company wanted to hire you for a campaign or something, and you told them your retainer was 25 G's.
yeah. I make that in one contract. So it's so I can't really so yeah, it's just. But again, it looks different for different people.
Exactly. And did you know that he pulled that same stunt when you clocked his tea and had told that stylist that the certain things was not in the budget? Now, when he took his ass down there to Jamaica on that cruise that he got that package on, where I guess apparently all you could get is margaritas, because I saw him and Charles drunk the whole cruise, was margaritas in the buffet. Then he got on this live just the other day talking about yesterday or today talking about his debit card wasn't linked, so they couldn't go do nothing down there in the Bahamas. That they could just stay at the place because
No, I think you're talking about two different things. I think what you're speaking about is a previous trip that they took to Jamaica versus the cruise.
No. This is a recent trip. A recent one. The Bahamas. I said Jamaica, but the Bahamas.
No, the debit card issue was in reference to a trip to Jamaica, not to the Bahamas.
Okay. Thank you.
From what I've gathered on some of the things that come across, and I don't watch them. I don't follow them. I don't watch them. But these things still come up on my timeline because people obviously share the content and whatnot. And so I may sit there and watch like 10 seconds of a video, but you can learn a lot in 10 seconds because all they do is talk. They tell everything. They tell their entire life story, their entire business. So in 10 seconds, you can learn everything about these people. But that was the blowback was about a previous trip to Jamaica, where they, also tried to shit on people a little bit by saying, I don't know if you can cuss on TikTok. I don't be on TikTok, but they tried to say that we've been to Hawaii, we've been to Jamaica, we've been to the Bahamas. That's 3 places. I've been to that times 6. So they just get on here and embarrass themselves in front of people who truly do these things. I've been to a lot of different countries. I'm planning to go to Barbados just next month. And I would have been out the country earlier this year. I usually try to take 2 or 3 trips out the country every year. But dealing with thing 1 and thing 2, I haven't been able to.
And so when you put out that statement, I'm so glad to know that was you. And we don't care who managing him now or whatever he think he doing or what he doing. But what I can tell you is that if you would have saw the judge, if you would have,
they keep asking about the doctor's note, and I've been trying my best to ignore those questions.
And don't answer it. And let me say this because Carlos had answered that in this degree. This is a legal issue. You guys may not know this. There is a criminal investigation going on with these guys, not Carlos. He's not going to comment about an allegation that they put out against him. There is an active criminal investigation. That question will not be addressed on him. Not you. And I know you didn't know, sweetie. I'm not attacking you. I've seen it a few times. Not you. That wasn't to you. That was just I've seen it, and I don't want people to think I was ignoring it. The reason I didn't ask the question is because I know that there is an active criminal investigation. I'm one of the ones calling every day to keep it alive and going against them for what happened about that. And it has absolutely nothing to do with Carlos. There was an allegation against him. He will not speak on that because he shouldn't, and nor would he. But we can go on. If
somebody asks who the trailer for, so the trailer is Joe's, Netta, whatever you refer to him as. Or maybe not because the trademark issue. But the trailer belonged to Joe. And Charles' name, from my understanding, is not on the trailer. He just lives there.
That would make sense because when Mia had recorded her conversation with Charles, Joe Diddy told him, well, you can get your clothes and leave.
Yeah, because, I mean, and obviously you would do that. Like if somebody co-owns something You can't just tell somebody to leave something that they also own. You know, the only way you can tell somebody to leave something is that because they also do not own it.
Right. And so do you know why this man didn't understand the basic principles of have to invest in yourself to get the type of success and money he was putting the horse before the cart before the horse?
They want to spend money on everything but the right thing.
So when you said that, when you say as a manager that it wasn't in the client's budget, that's basically saying that they don't have the money or was willing to spend the money to to have said services, right? Isn't that just a nice professional
Yeah,
way of
this is
saying
the
it?
bottom line to it. Yeah.
Any way you look at it, that's the bottom line to it. Did you ever have any discussions with him about how he was unhinged on this app at times and unraveling?
Yeah, I did. Um, yeah. And the
Did he?
conversations were pretty much around, you know, so, and I'm like, so I told him, if you want to put out a video, just create the content, send us the video. We'll post the video for you so that you don't have to post. That way, you're not reading the comments. You're not looking at all this stuff. The only thing you should do is your live videos and then swipe left or whatever so that you don't have to see the comments on that. But I've tried several times to address the issue of, being unhinged or whatnot. But again, when you deal with a narcissist, it you can't code stupid.
Right, exactly. So, have you ever seen? Now, I know that you've been around when they've done the videos and the skits and the production and things like that. But have you ever seen Charles just go up to his husband and just embrace him and kiss him like you do your wife, like you would do your wife, like, look at my beautiful wife, and you go over and kiss her, thank you, baby, for being a wonderful mom or cooking dinner. You know how men do that. Have you ever seen Charles do that?
Not really. If I have, it's been like once or twice.
And this was off camera, off, nothing was being recorded or filmed.
Yeah, but I can't like vividly remember a time in which that were the case.
Right. Right. Did you and Charles ever have, are they ever not apart, or is Charles not allowed to go out and have his own friends and not be around Diddy?
No, not really. But Charles and I have. So I do know this about Charles. Charles loved the women. Okay, that I remember one time in particular in New York, there was like an Asian lady or something walking by, and Charles, asked me, he was like, "Hey, you don't like Asian women, do you?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I like black women. I don't like Asian women." But he, like, I ain't gonna lie. I kind of do. She looked good. So, but he would always joke. So I do know Charles loved the women. Apparently, because there'd be times when he, kind of states as such. When we're just out different places. I'm like walking with him somewhere or something like that. He'll point out a woman with a big duke or something like that. But it's very rare where he's able to be by himself.
Very rare. And I'll tell you what's so interesting to me is Charles had told a female on this app, he called her pound cake face, and there ain't none wrong. pound cake tastes good. He's very flirtatious with women on this, even on this app, and Joe Diddy knows it.
Someone asked, does Charles ever point out men he's attracted to? I've never witnessed anything like that. I've never witnessed anything like that.
So did can you tell us, are you able to tell us who held the purse strings? So like when you would pull a deal together, you would get y'all cuts or whatever. That's not our business. But would you send the money? Would they split the money, or would Joe Diddy get it?
Yeah, it always go to Joe.
So like I said, Joe got the wallet. Joe, Charles should be Miss Netta, and
Do you think Charles could be successful if he cuts ties with Joe? I do not. I think Charles actually needs Joe. Joe has the brains to make them as a unit move forward. I remember one day we were in the car. I was driving. We were headed from maybe Dallas to San Antonio, I want to say. But I remember driving, and I asked them the question, I was like, what are trying to figure out things to do to kind of keep their, 15 minutes prolonged. And, I came up with some ideas for Joe. I said, hey, well, you could sing. We can put you on the road. You can do shows by doing covers of different songs. Then I got to Charles, and this is why I just think Charles is slow. I got to Charles, and he's like, well, I've been thinking about being an engineer. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, how is being an engineer, or whatever he said? I forget, maybe when it was something he said. Right. It was like totally off the wall. I'm like, we talking about your influencer kind of career here. What are you talking about? And then I had to step in. It was like, no, that's not what you're talking about, Charles. So
right. So what was making that man? What happened with Gold's plastic surgery? Weren't they supposed to have multiple surgeries?
Yeah, and it was nothing on Gold's end. Don't get that wrong. Gold's is a great company. The people there are very nice. I vetted everything before we did anything. I met with Gold's a lot of times, asked a lot of questions before we even let them do anything. But it wasn't on Gold's. So whatever hasn't happened is because they don't want it to happen.
So what was it? He didn't have no triple BBL yet. He went through the procedures of doing it.
Yeah, no. It's supposed to be 3 different surgeries. Charles is supposed to have 2 different surgeries, procedures, not surgeries, but procedures. And they both only had 1.
So the first procedure, I'm assuming what Joe Diddy had all that horse manure removed up out of his blockage. They removed that blockage up out of him in order to do anything. So that probably took up the whole day in itself, getting all that stuff backed up out of him. And then I don't know why they get mad or don't understand that surgery is painful and you got to go through things. It seemed like they don't complete stuff. They just half-ass do stuff, Carlos.
Yeah, because they don't, there's no guidance. People like them, again, it's like a daycare with not the brightest kids in the daycare. It's like a daycare full of not the brightest kids. You got to constantly hold their hand. You got to constantly, take them on the playground, and read books to them, and let them have nap time and all this kind of stuff.
Here's a question for you, Carlos. Could you please tell everybody they in here when that mistake had happened, when y'all left out that hotel and they had to figure out the billing for that food when that security was there? Tell them what happened when they came to check Charles to show he paid for that food in that restaurant.
Wait, when was this? What was this?
When they was in LA. Do you remember when they were in LA and they stopped Charles at the door? They was getting ready to go out the door and they was looking at Charles' phone to see that receipt on the phone.
I don't remember that. I don't know if I was there.
You don't remember? Okay. But
if I remember, then I could have been there.
Okay. I remember things. I don't remember it vividly, but it just came across my mind. But if you don't recall, I move on. But a couple other things I wanted to ask you is, did they ever seem to have hygienic problems or issues? Did you ever smell them, or did they seem like did they sleep in their clothes? You saw them on a Monday and y'all was traveling, they wore the same thing Tuesday. Did you ever experience that?
No, I don't really get into that kind of stuff, but no, there was never any issues like that. They may live in a trailer, but none of that stuff ever happened.
Does Joe have a house in Virginia? Is that true?
I don't believe that is true. Joe does not have any ties to Virginia. Joe was originally born in St. Louis, and then moved and have family in Cleveland, and moved to Alabama. So anywhere else, I don't think they don't have any connections to.
Do you think you could have got them a deal with like a penile enlargement company for Joe Diddy? Do you think you could have spent that if he wanted to get that? Because
that's not something I would have worked on.
Okay, you would have said, "Don't even ask me to do that for you, Joe." I ask the questions, it may seem a strange question, Carlos, but it's questions that, believe it or not, people have asked me, I've talked about. I ask the questions that some people don't ask, but I do appreciate you. And this is the second time you've been on my show, and you answered all questions, you communicate.
A house in Virginia. I'm putting it together now. I'm sorry. I gotta talk very direct with me.
Okay.
But no, that's not, none of that stuff is true.
The package ain't true.
That is not true. Yeah. And that's just
ask you this. Is this thing, they ran in my comments and in my messages talking about Joe them ran out on a plug. Do you know anything about a plug?
No, I don't. That doesn't sound true either.
Okay.
Yeah, some of these things are just internet made up stuff. What I'm not going to do is sit around and lie for people entertainment. That's not what I'm going to do.
Right. And I never said nothing about a package, but you have heard people they were saying that, right?
Yeah, I've seen that, but that's none of that stuff there is true at all.
Okay. Well, this is what I love.
And someone said, well, Joe wouldn't tell Carlos if he did, which is not true. So I have had to have worked with their medical records. They had to, before they go to Gold's plastic surgery, they had to have medical screenings and different things like that. So,
okay.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get into anybody's personal medical record.
That's personal, and that's commendable.
That's personal information.
Yes.
But the question that everyone is asking, that I certainly would know, but I'm not going to sit here and just let the internet continue to just disparage, that kind of innuendo that's just, not based in any facts at all.
So do we do?
Someone asked, why did Charles peel his chemical peel? Charles was not supposed to get a chemical peel at all. So when I left them in Miami because I had to go back to Denver because I had to. So this is on a Monday. We flew from DC to Miami for the chemical peel. The idea was for them to be in Miami the entire week for the peel to kind of go through the entire process. The only person that was supposed to get a peel was Joe. Charles was never, Rolandis, whatever, was never supposed to get a chemical peel at all. Now, somehow, Charles let those folk convince him that he needed a chemical peel. After I gave very clear instructions, Charles, you do not need a chemical peel. Don't get a chemical peel. Somehow he let the people convince him. But the one rule that they told them was to not peel. If it peeled, let it peel itself. Let it peel naturally. Do not peel it if it starts to peel. It's a chemical peel. Well, again, I don't think that he, had them all in his head. And so he decided, for whatever reason, to get a chemical peel. But not only did he decide to get a chemical peel, he started to peel the chemical peel.
So is that why he had on all that makeup in Florida?
That is correct. Yeah, because the chemical peel wasn't working out in his favor. Because of him. Because he started to peel it.
So when Joe Diddy went to Florida in that pleather suit, and all that black and that size 22 foot with his toes dragging on the concrete, what would make him think that was the appropriate attire in that hot heat?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay. And then I had a question about did Joe Diddy them when they were in New York, did you go state to state with them on every state? Were you with them on that tour when they were going in there performing this song and doing their appearances?
Say that one more time.
Were you in when they went around the state doing their appearances back when you were managing them? Were you with them or did you have the travel manager with them?
No, I was with them every single time.
You were. So in that club, and I know you may not remember this, but I got a video of Joe Diddy with Charles next to him, bobbing his head. Why did Joe Diddy, the DJ played a song saying something about your face, your ugly face, she was scratching it in between the music. Did y'all hear, do you remember that?
I did. I think I did catch that. It was really after the fact, I think, because I think people, I heard the song. And in that moment, I didn't really put it together until social media started putting it together. The social media came back and was like, why did DJ do that? So because when I'm managing and stuff like that, it's a lot of, I'm just not paying attention to all of the music stuff. I'm paying attention to, what I need to, right? So I'm responsible for an entire staff of people, right? Security, a photographer that he's there. The travel coordinator, if she's there, the assistant, whoever, so I'm focused on all these other layers. But I did hear it, and it did stick out, but I just heard it and kept going and didn't really give it any thought until after the fact.
So were you responsible? When you heard them, when he put out a clip and you would see all them people, Charles, Netta Charles, we love you, Netta for president. Was that your idea?
Yeah, that was my idea. Yeah, there was.
See, you brilliant. Do you think you could help me get this song here? Charles, your bumps are ready. They only burst for you. These bumps are ready. And I got your dessert too. This is for my haters that's coming for me. Back off, Miss Netta. You don't want this disease. I'm tired of these haters picking on me. Charles, your bumps are ready. Could you think you could help me get in the studio so I can drop that beat?
Yeah, I know some studios.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send you my number, and I'm sending you my number so you can. I'm serious. I want to drop this beat. I want this on a ringtone for America.
Okay, yeah, let's get you in the studio, and then we'll take it one step at a time.
Absolutely, Carlos. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So, is anybody in the comments that have any questions for our wonderful guest, Carlos? Does anybody have any questions that he chooses to answer or don't answer? But if y'all have questions, put them in the comments. He reads the comments. Y'all clearly see it. He said the baby is doing fine. His baby is 2 months old. His son. 2
Yeah, I'm
months
surprised
old.
y'all. He's up there crying now. I gotta go get him in a second.
Okay. Well, Carlos, let me say thank you. Thank you very much. Go tend to your son. We appreciate you on the Miss Hillary Sanchez show.
I'm sorry. Someone did ask a final question here.
Okay.
What advice would he give them if they were listening right now?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a very great question. So the advice that I would give to them is to focus. It's time to transition out of the social media realm, right? So you've been doing social media, like social media could end tomorrow, and bam, there goes your living, right? So it's time for them to really transition. If they truly want to do these things long term, transition out of the social media realm and try to find things that could bring in, that could create some kind of longevity for them in terms of finances, sustainability, name recognition, all of those things. So they should be really trying to get with so let me give you the prime example of someone who did this and did it the right way. Okay. You all remember the Risa Tisa girl, right?
Yes.
The lady who got on Instagram and just shared 50 stories about the man that she, was married to, whatever the case may be. So that took off, right? People simply just watched that. As a result, from that, she was signed to CAA, Creative Artist Agency. And now she have a deal with, I think, like it's either Hulu or Netflix for a show behind that story. She has been on every national show that you can think of. But that's because she, was able to capitalize truly off of simply some videos that people make every single day on TikTok. So that's the kind of, that's what they could have done and what they could have been. But, I don't think that it's ever going to happen for them because, one, if it was going to happen, it would have already happened. Again, looking at Risa Tisa, That literally happened and transpired overnight. The second thing that I would say is you gotta stop all the talking that you do, right? Because you're not smart. You don't speak proper English. You sound like you live in a trailer park in Sylacauga, Alabama. So people, no one's want to pick nobody. Nobody wants to work with that, right? Because the executives at these corporations, they're white. They don't speak that same kind of. They don't speak that. They don't know. They can't relate. So it's hard for them to work with people who can't even say, who get the word communication and community mixed up, who get the word result and resort mixed up, who can't, properly say the word seasonings, and which is a product that you actually have. So there's just a huge disconnect between them and the corporate world, in which they could have had some kind of longevity. But it goes down to, they simply can't stop talking. If they were to just make their videos, their cooking videos, and put those out, well, you don't have to say very much. All you got to do is say, Charles, your lunch is ready, and put the video out. So that's not a lot of words there. Had that been the only thing that they were doing, and in addition to the appearances, which again, there's not a lot of talking, you're just performing a song. That could have created and really opened up the doors, but because of the fact that they continue to talk and put their foot in their mouths, is the reason why that longevity cannot be created, and it will not be created.
Now, let me ask you this. I know you got to get the baby. I apologize. There is a lady who is from their state. Okay, she's from Alabama, and Joe Diddy attacked this woman's business, her page. He got her page shut down, Carlos. This was this woman's income, an African American woman. I'm trying to recall her name, but he had her page shut down, her revenue, her money. She's from that state. She's from somewhere down there. What do you think about this grown man? This grown damn man attacking an African American because she had an opinion and she knew about what this man did and what's her name? Don Diva? Don Diva. That's her name. Don Diva. What do you think about a grown man doing something like that to a African American businesswoman where her page was her revenue? I just want your opinion before you go.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Tyler Perry can put on a Madea dress and dress up as Madea, but Tyler Perry never forgets that he's still a man. Okay. Martin Lawrence could play the role of Big Mama, do the same thing, put on the bodysuit, put on the dress, but Martin Lawrence never forgot that he was a man. Even as various characters, Shanae, whatever you want to look at, he never forgot that he was a man. In this case, I believe the issue is that you have a character who, in fact, has forgotten that they are a man. And when you try to profess and proclaim this to be a character, but this is that's just a lie, because this is who you think you are.
Right. But I gotta say this, right, just to interject and you can finish your answer. I need I need to wrap my brain around this. This is a whole damn ugly ass man who literally attacked a African American woman's business and took her revenue away from
Yeah, well,
her.
where I'm going with it is
Okay.
that because, you know, he doesn't necessarily perceive himself to be a man, right? Because even out of character, still have nails done, still, have the voice. The voice is not the original voice, so they forget that ultimately, at the end of the day, they're still a man. And so I think that's the issue as to why it's so easy for this man to attack women in the fashion in which women are attacked by them, is because they forget that they're a man. And just like someone said, it's threatened to fight women, right? Yeah, that is true. I remember, I think I saw somewhere it said, well, if a woman hit me, although I'm a man, I'm gonna beat her like I was a woman, or something like that. That's not right. That's not right. The physical, strength that a man possesses over a woman is not even equal. It's not equitable. So, so I think you're just dealing with someone who doesn't care. You think you're dealing with a narcissist. You can't forget that. But someone who tend to always forget, no matter how much they say they don't, will always forget that they're still a man.
And an ugly ass man at that, and make for an ugly ass woman. I appreciate you. I know you gotta go. I thank you so very much. Check your inbox. I'll send you my number. I really do thank you. Appreciate you. This is your second time. You've been a couple hours with me on the first show we done, and now you back over here for a couple more hours. I thank you so much, Carlos. Check for my number so you can message me as soon as you get off of here. And I want to drop that song. I want to put that song out. Whatever it costs to do, I want you to make it happen with me.
Someone says he never speaks to other men sideways. Yeah, so I would. So look, I'm not scared of Miss Nigga. Okay, I would kick Miss Nigga in his balls, make him fall to the ground, and call it a day. Okay, just simple as that. Simple as that. I ain't even got to do too much. All right. You ain't even got to do too much. Make him remember he a man.
Well, us who seen him with a bathing suit on when he was on that one red carpet and that shrimp was protruding.
I'm not getting into all that.
I know. I will see you later, Carlos. See ya. Thank you, Carlos.
All right.
Bye-bye. You know, y'all, I thank him so much. I thank Carlos for coming up on the show. But we all know about the shrimp. We all know about the shrimp. Everybody has seen it. It's not anything new. I want y'all to tune in. I want you to hear me clearly. So y'all knew that I showed the receipts of Joe Diddy being summoned to the great state of Connecticut. Let me recap this for y'all. So Miss Hillary Sanchez has a couple different legal actions between Joe Diddy and myself. Thank you for the gifts. 2 are civil, 1 is criminal. Now, this case that Joe Diddy was supposed to be in Connecticut for, he moved for a continuance. And he moved for a continuance based on, he says, last minute of service, which he was served on September 29th. He replied on October 4th. He got a continuance. I'm not going to give the date exactly because I don't want him to claim that I gave a date and people are going to be looking for him to go to the airport and he can get an excuse not to come. But what I will tell you guys, he will be in the great state of Connecticut within the next 7 to 13 days. And and in that time frame, we will have our day in court initially. Then there will be some other unpleasant things legally that will happen with him once he touches down in the jurisdiction of Connecticut. So I said it a couple of times already on my show, so that when it breaks, when the news breaks and it gets all over TikTok, make sure that y'all give credit where it's due, because I'm telling you first. And I don't think he understands, state statutes when it comes to things you do and what you can't do. And in the state of Connecticut, they don't play. They don't play, and he gonna find out. And sometimes you just gotta show people. You gotta show people. And the reason why I brought up oh, DJ. Hello, DJ. Come up. Come up, Mr. DJ World. Can you request to come up? I'd like to say hi to you. I would like to say hi to you if you got a moment. If it's not a good time, I can see you. But if you want, you're welcome to come up. I'd like to say hi to you. Nevertheless, if you don't, it's okay. We can talk another time. But I would definitely like to say hi to you on an earlier night. I'll even if I come over to your platform to say hi. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha, DJ. But yeah, so I literally want people to understand that you have to hold people accountable like Joe Diddy. You can't just issue out, things and not follow through with them. Like his manager, his I don't know if you call it former manager or manager, but you call Carlos. Carlos is the most professional man I have ever spoken to. He's got great credibility. He's credible. I would sign up with Carlos because he's a genius. His mind is great for the entertainment industry. Hello, DJ.
Bluetooth just connected.
Okay.
It hadn't connected before. Hold on one second.
Okay, he's gonna get his Bluetooth connected, but while he's getting it fixed, welcome in, DJ, on the Miss Hillary Sanchez show. I have been watching you, DJ, in your coverage of Joe Diddy. Go ahead and unmute whenever you're ready. But I definitely have been watching you, DJ. You've been doing your thing. I love the name that you gave Joe Diddy. And I would love for you to tell me the name. But go ahead, if you can unmute when you're ready. Go ahead.
Okay, bet. Yeah, and thanks for having me up as well. As far as Joe, and the reason I call him Joe Glizzy, because it's like a slang terminology. And, like younger people call a glizzy either a pew pew or it's like a hot dog. So it's a piece of meat between two buns. So that's why I call him Glizzy, because I think that Glizzy and Charles are 69 guys. I think they be switching up. One day Charles be the woman, the next day Joe be the woman.
You right. You clock that. And I said that months ago. I said they taking turns. They taking turns. And it was even more clear to me as Carlos confirmed who carries the pockets, who get the money and control everything. And then, like I said the other day when I seen y'all on, they're covering them when they were at that restaurant, and Joe gonna turn to him and ask him to pay for that meal that he sat there and ate, because Charles had got that little money from TikTok, and he knew that he had got that money from TikTok and wanted to spend up his money. It's unbelievable.
I came in like probably I caught the last 25 minutes or so of the live stream. Was you able to ask him, like a little deeper about how that Joe and them, deal with each other as far as like on a physical level, them being companions or whatnot?
I have previously, and let me be very transparent. So previously, I had spoke with Carlos. I grow to like him a lot. At first, we weren't cool, right? But then I got to speak to him for a couple of hours on my show. He came up on my show, just a real great man. Like I said, he's a educator, a professor, teaches people stuff, has multiple businesses, teams of people working with real celebrities. I asked some of the tough questions that you just mentioned. And there were certain things he would answer, certain things he wouldn't, and certain things he just didn't even know, because that wasn't part of what he was to do. But to go to your question, one thing I specifically remember him saying was that I asked him, how do they interact together? And I asked him how they acted specifically off camera, off script, off of when the camera is pointing at them and it's lights and action. And he said he can remember, he wasn't accurately about it, but he said he may recall one or two times that he's seen them maybe have a moment together a couple times. Now, you got to keep in mind, this man has been a manager with them for a long time. And managers are going to know. It's called chemistry. You would pick up on those things. And the questions, when I asked Carlos could have been like, well, yeah, they're in love. In my opinion, they in love. But Carlos just said it tonight that radio said that he wasn't attracted to Joe Diddy like that. And I've heard it. I've got videos of him saying it. And I know you've probably heard the Auntie podcast where Charles said that they using each other. So I asked him some questions, but it wasn't, there was just certain things he wouldn't know. Do you know what I mean? Because he wasn't in the bed with them.
Did he clear up the thing about the marriage that we seen when he was there?
Well, I had already, yes, but I already knew that. He clarified that on my first show, a couple months ago. He said that they got a marriage license in a different state. They did get married, that they are legally married. I re-clarified that when I filed these legal actions against him, DJ, because you got to know who you're suing, and the investigators and the authorities all had to look into that and stuff. So most definitely they are legally married, and I can tell you that Joe Diddy has changed his last name officially on his driver's license.
He's an Alexander now.
Yes, legally.
Holla, man.
Yeah. Yes.
So can I ask, because I came in, a little late or whatever.
Okay.
Like, when Carlos came on, like, what was the main reason he came on? Was there something that he just needed to clear up, or did he just say, "I'm just going to answer the question"?
Like I said, Carlos has been on the Miss Hillary Sanchez show, and he had come up and he was on the show for a couple of hours before on my show. He was on my panel. It was me and him and another person. Then it was just me and him, and we talked for over a couple of hours. I told him he's always welcome on the show. Carlos tells me that, at night sometime, because he's a very busy man. He's a businessman. He's up doing things, reading emails and things like that. And he says sometimes that he will get on TikTok here and there, and whatever in his FYP page, he can click on it or whatever like that. But this, him coming into my live tonight, was not pre-announced. I didn't know he was coming in. He showed up, he came up in the box, and we went with it.
Amazing show. Amazing show. Like I said, I only caught a little bit, you know what I mean? And I got to ask you too, now that I, actually have an opportunity to speak to you. So for me and for everybody else, like, what was the beginning, thing that kind of set you off with Joe? Like when you first started noticing Joe?
Yes, wonderful question. So, Miss Hillary Sanchez was off this app. So I was off the app. I was getting a couple different messages from people who personally knew me on a backup account, a private account that nobody knew I really had, unless you were like truly a friend of mine. And they were sending me videos of Joe Diddy attacking Black women, just degrading them, about being on public assistance and different things like that. And so after about a month to 2 months of me hearing this man go on and not seeing people address this man for what he was saying and attacking African American women, I decided that no one could come and handle him like Hurricane Hillary. Nobody could come and be on this man's back like I could. I could do it every day, 2 times a day, and until he thought about Hillary. So that's to answer your question. So that's why.
Have you ever met him like before or seen him personally?
Other than the court, other than his first appearance with the court case. So keep in mind, I never had known him prior to that. Never had known him. I had one conversation with him prior to that regarding the BET Awards, when I had clocked them being detained, and then he tried to put different words in my mouth about arrested and this and that. No, I never said that, but I had a conversation with him on a live. He came up in my live, and I told him, that he was under investigation. I told him that Charles had been fired. Social media had told me I was lying, and come to find out Charles was fired. Charles was fired for providing fake doctor's notes, which I already knew why he was under investigation. Just TikTok and other people didn't know.
This is wild right here. All of this is wild. Like, because when I heard him make statements, and it's like it been indirect statements that he made towards you. A lot of the stuff that he was saying, that I got, the energy anyway was like, oh, this person's lying. This person don't know this. This person don't know that, because he basically tried to say at one given time that you stayed like near or in the same building or area as his nephew. And I was like, how he come up with that stuff?
Just a lie. Just a straight lie. This is something I know that most people in here could easily figure out. When you have the truth, DJ, what is the most thing people are in fear of? The truth, right? So if you can go on a damage campaign to try to discredit somebody, and this narrative that, oh, she was in the crazy house, oh, she can't be on the internet past 12, Wi-Fi gets shut off at midnight. She's in the crazy, you this and that, just all this insane stuff. And Joe Diddy even said, I was in the crazy house with his cousin.
That's what he said. And when I
Yes.
heard that, I was like, wait a minute now, because I don't even think y'all in the same state. I'm like, this is weird.
No, we are definitely not in the same state. This man, and I know if Lexi Mama is in here, she's one of a day ones, and a few other of my true supporters could tell you that when I came out and I broke this story with the BET Awards, and what really happened, and 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 this man, then they went on an attack against me because he couldn't understand how I got the photographs, the videos, and everything else. He was trying to figure out who gave me the information. Now, he wasn't even smart enough to know that I had video. I had video, and I just screenshotted the stills of each video, and I was putting up those videos and saying, well, how did I get this, Joe? How could I be this close to you taking pictures if I didn't see what was going on? So that's kind of how all that came about, DJ.
Interesting. And then what you had stated a little earlier, and the sister, I'm pretty sure she may still be listening. It's the Don Diva. I had her up earlier today, and she went live on her channel talking about Joe. I don't know if you heard, the audio that she played. She has a little bit of the video. I think they were in a DMV, if I ain't mistaken. And Joe said some stuff to her that I'm pretty sure people wouldn't think that he would have said. And he came off, he appeared, as I heard, to be aggressive when he was talking to a woman.
Huh?
So
So,
let me, so it's like they went, I think she was going to the DMV. I don't know what her reason was, but Joe was in there too. And when she was sitting in there, Joe gonna ask her, why you staring at me, and all this other stuff. Yeah, he got real smart with the woman and everything.
So the one who Don Diva, that's her name. I couldn't recall her name, but let me tell you how I remember to even bring her up. I remembered her from months ago. I don't remember if she was ever on my platform, but I think she was on somebody else's platform. I think it was Erica's platform, or somebody's, and I remember her being in there, and I remember her telling me that Joe had her page shut down. And I remember, that's serious when you use that. It's your business. And I never forgot that lady. I know that may sound silly, but I never forgot that person. I may have forgot her name, but I never forgot her story, if you know what I mean.
At this point, that it's people that got similar stories as her, because initially when I came over here and I, reported on Joe or whatnot, and I kept hearing people saying that, and I was like, dang, man, he doing all that stuff for real? Yeah, because it happened with my page and several other people's pages. So yeah, I believe what she's saying, and now that she has in fact posted the video showing that she was there, man, Joe can't deny that. And it seemed like he got this thing.
And you heard it.
Oh yeah.
You heard Joe's voice on it.
I'll try to play it now. Yeah, Joe was up in there, and like I say, being that they were inside of the DMV, as she stated, she couldn't, talk that loud. But I'm gonna pull it up right now. Yeah, Joe out of order. I didn't even know he was moving like that, aside from what people say about him. But yeah, he was very disrespectful. And he made it seem like, like she's supposed to feared him. Oh, don't say this, don't say that. Hold on, I'm gonna try to pause it so you can see how Joe was sitting up in there looking. Wait a minute. Let me show you how Joe was looking. Wait a minute, hold up. Joe is a fool, man. Let me look at this. Let me see if it'll let me flip this camera around. Okay, that's how you do it right there. Oh, it won't let me do it because I'm on this account. I don't have access, but I'm gonna play the audio because it's just like a little piece when him and Rolandis is sitting there. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Okay.
You have been looking at me? Have I? Yes. Because you definitely been looking at me. Yeah, that's why I'm over here because you was staring at me over here. Who was staring at you? Yeah, that's why I'm looking like, why is she, Who was staring at you? You. I spoke to you when you walked in. No, you didn't speak to me. Don't lie. No, you didn't. When you take your camera out, I did it right here. Who's taking the camera out? When you was walking up here right here, I did it right here to you. No, you didn't. Oh, okay, well. Yeah, you know exactly. Well, I didn't come here my name ain't girly to say it. I don't know. Yeah, okay, well. Irrelevant. Yeah, irrelevant. That part. Big diet, period. Man, Hillary, you gonna have to hear it. It's on it's the Don Diva 1. That's her name. Just so you can hear it clear because it was kind of low because they were inside of the DMV. But I'm gonna make an attempt to raise the volume, man, and just post it on the page. But yeah, it did happen, and Joe got a smart mouth. Joe got a smart mouth.
Apparently, from the time, with his mouth, with his damn mouth, the way he apparently somebody had to have cold cocked him in his head between high school and where he at now for his eyes to not agree with each other. And my grandma used to tell me, never trust a crooked-eyed damn man because he's going to tell you a lie, and that's all this man does. He attacks women, he lies, he does things this way, he does things that way. And it makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense at all. His eyes got a mind of their own. They never agree with each other. The day and time Joe's eyes can agree with each other at the same time, he's going to make it on social media. I'm telling you, he the only person who can come on here and hold 3 different lives, stand in one place, and everybody feels like he's engaging with them on that one page because them eyes is working overtime. But
Man, go right ahead.
But I definitely appreciate you for coming on here. I will definitely go and check out this thing on your page. I'll give you time to upload it or on Don Diva's page. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, no, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live to discuss more details and show more receipts of why Joe Diddy has to come down to the state of Connecticut. So y'all make sure that y'all tune in. For this. It is 2:34 in the morning Eastern Standard Time for Miss Hillary Sanchez. I definitely gotta get to bed because I gotta get up in the morning. But I thank you guys. I thank you for coming over, DJ. I appreciate you. I watch your platform. I watch you. I be doing things, but I watch you. I hear you. I love what you do. Keep on going. You have my support. And that's just that.
Like I said, I'll let you close out, and thanks again. And I definitely will be listening tomorrow. I'm on deck, Hillary, and thanks again. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, DJ. Have a
All right.
wonderful day. Thank you for
You as
coming up. Yes, thank all my viewers and tappers and gifters. Lexi Mama, we communicate on DMs. I thank you so much if you still in here. I appreciate you. I really do. I thank everybody. Especially I'd like to thank my sister Mia. CC, and of course, Carlos. Carlos, it was a delight having him on the show. And I thank every one of you guys for all the taps and the viewing audience. Make sure y'all tap in tomorrow for the Miss Hillary Sanchez show at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go into it. We're going to break into it. And it's going to get good. You guys are going to see how Miss Hillary Sanchez is going to take Joe Diddy down the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road is where he's getting ready to come. And I promise y'all, he's going to have to pay me. You hear it now. And when this case gets over, y'all will understand why. Thank you guys so much. Good night and have a wonderful evening. Okay?